Anna accidentally discovered that her boyfriend had been secretly chatting with his first love every night. In the messages, he proudly told the woman that he was now worth hundreds of millions, and asked if she was willing to return to him. Only then did Anna understand the rumors were true. Her boyfriend really was a billionaire, the illegitimate son of a powerful tycoon who had grown up outside the family. The realization shattered her. She couldn't stop herself from crying. Hearing the sound, the man suddenly turned around. Seeing his secret exposed, he dropped all pretense and confessed without shame. He told Anna they no longer belonged to the same world. It had taken him everything to climb to the top, and he would never go back to struggling in poverty with her. Enraged, Anna demanded to know if he had forgotten the promises they once made. Instead of guilt, he lashed out, accusing her of being a gold digger who only wanted to cling to him now that he was rich. He sneered that he had planned to give her a dignified breakup, but since she didn't know her place, there was no need for courtesy. The apartment was rented with his money. He ordered her to get out immediately. That was the last straw. Anna slapped him hard across the face. He grabbed his clothes and stormed out without looking back. For years, Anna had deposited all her earnings into their shared account. Now driven out overnight, she didn't even have enough money for a cheap hotel. With nowhere to go, she pushed her milk tea cart through the streets aimlessly. A middle-aged man stopped to buy a drink, but the moment he saw her face, his expression changed. He stared at the mole near her left eye and asked if she'd had it since childhood. Then he asked where she was originally from. After hearing her answer, the man was ecstatic. He was convinced she was the long-lost daughter of Harbor City's richest family. Before leaving, he asked for a strand of her hair. Meanwhile, her ex-boyfriend's first love had no intention of letting Anna go. Determined to drive her out of the city for good, she hired a gang of motorcycle thugs. Without warning, they smashed Anna's stall and threatened her, saying that if she didn't leave, they would return every day. Overwhelmed by fear and rage, Anna collapsed. When she woke up, she was already in the hospital. Sitting beside her bed was none other than the legendary richest man in Harbor City. His assistant handed her a paternity test report, clear and undeniable. DNA match 99.99%. The driver hadn't lied. Anna really was the tycoon's daughter, lost for over 20 years. 2 decades of hardship burst out in tears. She threw herself into her mother's arms, finally no longer alone. At the same time, her ex-boyfriend and his first love excitedly received an invitation to a grand banquet, celebrating the tycoon's reunited daughter. Benjamin's parents even urged him to use his own lost child background to pursue the heiress and elevate their family. Benjamin's plan was simple: win over the billionaire's daughter, then dump his current girlfriend. Full of anticipation, they arrived at the banquet, eager to meet the mysterious heiress. They never imagined the nightmare waiting for them when Anna appeared at the top of the staircase, dressed in an elegant gown and radiating calm confidence. The smiles on their faces froze. How could it be her, that poor girl, who sold lemon tea, the Anna they had trampled on like dirt? After a brief shock, they chose to strike back. The first love mocked Anna, publicly calling her a stray dog unfit for such a stage. Benjamin loudly accused her of being a deranged ex who refused to let go and was pretending to be an heiress. They were certain that no matter how many feathers you stuck on a chicken, it would never become a phoenix. Benjamin even ordered security to throw this lunatic out. That was when the tycoon and his wife arrived. Benjamin's parents rushed forward, claiming they had caught a fraud impersonating the heiress. Benjamin and his girlfriend eagerly piled on, painting Anna as a shameless gold digger. The tycoon's face darkened. He walked up behind Anna and declared in a voice that froze the entire hall, "She is my daughter. Anyone who dares bully her is asking for their own destruction." Reality crashed down brutally. Benjamin's parents collapsed. Benjamin and his girlfriend turned on each other, scrambling to shift blame. Anna stepped forward calmly and raised her hand. The first slap was for knowingly being the other woman. The second was for taking pride in bullying the weak. The third was for arrogance and cruelty. The final slap was for her utter lack of humanity. Apologies meant nothing. Anna chose the law. Security dragged the woman away and handed her over to the police. Then it was Benjamin's turn. He dropped to his knees, begging, clinging to their 5 years together. But it was far too late. On the spot, the tycoon announced the Joe Group would sever all cooperation with the Liu family. A single sentence sent them straight into ruin. Even after being thrown out, Benjamin remained delusional, convinced Anna was just angry and that he still had a chance. What he didn't know was that her life had already turned a new page. That night, her parents mentioned her childhood engagement to Tom, the eldest grandson of the powerful GU family. Before they could finish, Tom himself arrived. He had come to cancel the engagement. He wanted freedom over his own love life. But just as he spoke, Anna came downstairs. They bumped into each other. Tom recognized her instantly. She was the girl who had once spilled lemon tea on him and stubbornly insisted on making him a new cup. Kind, resilient, without hesitation. He turned to her stunned parents and announced, "I'm not here to cancel the engagement. I'm here to propose." Only then did they realize fate had planted its seeds long ago. This time, what awaited Anna was no longer betrayal or deception, but a future built on equality, respect, and unshakable love.
After 10 years of marriage, the husband entered his wife's room for the first time. He was shocked to find the room spotlessly clean, as if no one had ever lived there. He immediately called his wife, only to find the number was no longer in service. He then tried sending a text, and realized he had been blocked. It wasn't until he saw the divorce papers on the table that he finally understood she was truly leaving him, and it all started with an incident 3 days prior. At that time, his adopted sister had injured his wife. When she was taken to the hospital, her wound required 33 stitches. However, instead of visiting his wife in the hospital, the husband stayed home to tend to his adopted sister's minor scrapes. Throughout the 15 days his wife was hospitalized, he never once visited. When she returned home after being discharged, she unexpectedly discovered the real reason her husband had been distant for 3 years. It turned out that all it took was his adopted sister saying "Don't leave me" in Italian, to make the husband lose his composure, even dropping the prayer beads he always carried. After realizing his wife was present, he pretended to be calm and walked away. In that moment, she finally understood that no matter how much she had tried over the years, his indifference was because he was saving himself for his adopted sister. Heartbroken and disillusioned, she woke up to the truth. Since her sincerity had been treated like trash, she decided to take it all back. Without hesitation, she submitted an application to move abroad. In just a few days, she would completely leave his world. To avoid raising suspicion, she continued living with them as usual. But one day, the husband suddenly gave his wife a hair clip. The adopted sister, consumed by jealousy, sneered, "It looks really nice." Without even glancing at the gift, the wife accepted it and walked away, completely missing the strange look in the adopted sister's eyes. The next morning, as soon as she woke up, she discovered her carefully maintained long hair had been maliciously cut off. Staring at her disheveled reflection in the mirror, she broke down and screamed. She immediately confronted the adopted sister, demanding to know if she was the one who cut her hair. To her surprise, the adopted sister admitted without hesitation that she had done it, explaining that her school required a craft project and she wanted to make a wig, so she used her sister-in-law's hair. Enraged, the woman slapped the adopted sister hard across the face. The adopted sister was stunned. Since childhood, her brother had always cherished her, and no one had ever dared to lay a hand on her. She immediately called the servants to restrain the woman. The woman declared that she was the true mistress of the household, and challenged them to see who would dare touch her. But the adopted sister smirked disdainfully and asked the servants, "Think carefully who matters more to my brother, his wife or me?" Hearing this, the servants hesitated no longer and pinned the woman down. Watching the woman's furious yet helpless expression, the adopted sister found it laughable. Only then did the woman realize that in everyone's eyes, the adopted sister was the true mistress of the house. The adopted sister sneered, raised her hand, and slapped the woman across the face. Then, assuming the demeanor of the lady of the house, she declared that she was the man's one and only. She immediately ordered the servants to hold the woman down, and proceeded to slap her 100 times, until the woman was spitting blood and passed out. By the time she woke up, her husband was already by her bedside. She had expected him to seek justice for her, but instead, he began making excuses for his adopted sister, saying she was just acting childish and had already been punished. When the wife asked how she had been punished, the man held out a lock of hair and said, "She cut your hair, so I cut a lock of hers as punishment." The woman retorted, "And what about the 100 slaps she gave me? How will you account for that?" But the husband replied, "Her hand is already swollen from hitting you. That should be punishment enough." The wife couldn't help but laugh out loud. His heart had long been biased to an extreme. She wondered how she could have ever fallen in love with such a person. The man accused her of making a scene, and called his adopted sister in to apologize, trying to downplay the entire incident. When the adopted sister entered, she mumbled an apology, but her face was filled with reluctance. The woman simply looked at her coldly and said nothing. The adopted sister immediately pretended to be frightened, throwing herself into the man's arms. She deliberately said the woman looked like she was about to hit her. Seeing this, the man softly comforted her, saying, "With me here, no one would dare bully you." The woman couldn't be bothered to watch their sickening display any longer and told them to get out. Unexpectedly, the man actually complied with her request this time. He added that the doctor had indeed advised her to rest quietly, so they wouldn't disturb her any further. After saying this, he left the room with the adopted sister. As soon as they were gone, the woman received a phone call. She was notified that her visa was ready and she could pick it up immediately. Eager to get away from the disgusting pair as soon as possible, she immediately set out to collect her visa. However, while waiting for her ride, she was suddenly kidnapped. Shockingly, the adopted adopted sister had been kidnapped alongside her. It turned out this was the work of the man's enemy, who held a grudge after the man had ruined his family and destroyed his life. The kidnapper had not only taken them but also strapped timed bombs to them. The enemy planned to blow them to pieces right in front of the man, so he could also experience the pain of losing someone he loved. Soon, the man arrived at the scene after receiving the news. The woman urgently explained that she had learned how to defuse bombs, and begged the man to save her first so they could then save the adopted sister together. But the adopted sister, terrified, pleaded with the man to save her first. After a moment of hesitation, the man ultimately chose to go to the adopted sister first. The woman was stunned, left to watch helplessly as the man frantically worked to defuse the bomb on his sister. Yet, as soon as the adopted sister was safe, she saw that the man intended to go back for the woman and deliberately stopped him. She claimed the bomb was about to explode and insisted on dragging him away. As the woman watched the man she had chased after for 6 years, memories of their time together flashed through her mind. In that moment, her heart finally turned completely cold, and she made a firm decision. From that day on, she would sever all ties with him. In the end, the man was pulled away from the scene by the adopted sister. After they left, the woman struggled with all her might to save herself. At the very last second, she managed to throw the bomb away. When she woke up in the hospital, she was astonished to see the man waiting by her bed. The sight of his hypocritical concern made her sick. But then the man told her that while she was unconscious, he had arranged for a skin graft surgery for her. It turned out the adopted sister's arm had been injured in the explosion, and she didn't want scars. Since the woman's skin tone was similar to hers, they had directly taken skin from the woman's arm and used it on the adopted sister. The woman could hardly believe the man would do such a thing. Furious, she demanded, "In your eyes, am I just dirt beneath your feet?" Perhaps because he had a shred of conscience left, the man actually suggested that, as compensation, he would share a room with her after she was discharged. Little did he know, the woman was only disgusted. She slapped him hard across the face and told him to get out. Once the man was gone, the woman could no longer hold back her tears and broke down sobbing. She never imagined that 6 years of devotion would end in such a way. Soon, the day of her departure arrived. The woman touched the ill-fitting ring on her finger, and called the adopted sister over, handing it to her. It turned out the man had always wanted to marry the adopted sister. The wedding ring had been custom-made to the adopted sister's measurements. Even behind the decorative photos in the bedroom were hidden pictures of the adopted sister. The woman handed the signed divorce papers to the adopted sister, asking her to pass them to the man. She stated that she would no longer be involved in their messy affairs. Then, she headed to the airport with her luggage. Just as she arrived at the airport, she received a message from the man. He said he was back from a business trip and had brought her a gift. The woman knew all too well. It was probably just some freebie he picked up while buying a gift for the adopted sister. But she simply smiled faintly and whispered to herself, "Happy divorce. May you be free, and may I be released." The CEO woke up and immediately felt like the sky had fallen. There was a 300-pound woman lying beside him. He couldn't help but feel nauseous. He rushed to the bathroom and started vomiting. At that moment, the woman woke up in a daze. She just happened to hear the CEO saying he was going to settle the score with her. He also promised not to let her go. When the woman heard that the CEO wanted to sue her, she quickly grabbed her clothes and shoes and ran away. 6 years passed in the blink of an eye. The CEO had long-lasting aftereffects from that night. The old lady, concerned about finding him a wife, was very distressed. She brought various women to meet him every day. However, the CEO just looked at them and fainted. The old lady had no choice but to take him to the doctor. The doctor said the CEO had misandry and would faint uncontrollably whenever he came into contact with a woman. The old lady was shocked. Did this mean the family would have no heirs? She nearly fainted from the shock. At that moment, a young boy ran in. He asked the doctor about his condition. When the old lady saw him, she widened her eyes in surprise. The boy looked exactly like the CEO when he was young. She hurriedly grabbed the boy and asked how her son had become so small. The boy was also startled by her. At that moment, the CEO reassured the old lady that she had mistaken the boy for her son. The old lady realized the boy wasn't her son, but seeing how he resembled the CEO, she thought he must be her grandson. She quickly asked the CEO if he had ever been with any woman. The CEO immediately remembered the 300-pound woman. The old lady was thrilled because this meant the CEO had indeed been with another woman. She hurriedly asked the boy how old he was and where his parents were. The boy said he was 5 and had no father, only his mother taking care of him. Upon hearing this, the old lady immediately decided the boy must be her grandson. She asked the doctor to arrange a paternity test for him. At that moment, the boy's mother walked in. The boy immediately asked the doctor to tell his mother that he could be discharged. He begged the doctor not to tell her he had been there, since he had leukemia and just wanted to leave quickly to help his mom make money. This moved the old lady deeply. Then the boy's mother entered the room, and the CEO happened to be on the phone. The boy rushed to his mother's side. The doctor, remembering the old lady's words, hurriedly followed them out. He pretended he needed to take the boy for another checkup, telling the woman to prepare the medical records first. Soon, the test results came back. It turned out the boy was indeed the old lady's grandson. The doctor hurriedly went to the boy's room, ordering the nurse to move the CEO's grandson to a VIP room for special care. The boy was moved to the VIP room, leaving the woman confused. The doctor immediately called the old lady, but she was still questioning the CEO about the woman from years ago. The CEO, thinking of the 300-pound woman, felt disgusted. He threatened the old lady, saying that if she kept asking, he would become a monk. The old lady fainted from anger. Meanwhile, the woman, unaware of the situation, was preparing to take the boy to another hospital, but she unexpectedly ran into her ex-boyfriend. At that moment, the old lady was also brought to the hospital, just in time to see her grandson knocked to the ground. The woman realized the person she had bumped into was her ex-boyfriend, when she was still a 300-pound woman. He had mocked her with a fake marriage proposal, only for her to find out it was part of a bet, meant to make her a joke for everyone. The woman, heartbroken, cried uncontrollably. In her misery, she accidentally entered the CEO's room. That's when she and the CEO crossed paths. Seeing that her ex-boyfriend didn't recognize her new self, the woman tried to leave, but a scheming woman stopped her, immediately recognizing her as the 300-pound woman from the past. Upon hearing this, her ex-boyfriend instantly mocked her again, calling the boy an illegitimate child, saying only beggars would be interested in her. Seeing the boy looking sickly, he insulted her, saying she must have caught some dirty disease. The woman didn't want to engage with them, but they refused to let her leave and slapped her. Meanwhile, the old lady had woken up and finally saw her grandson's paternity test results. She immediately decided to find the boy, calling the CEO to tell him to come to the hospital and recognize his son. The CEO never expected the 300-pound woman from years ago had actually had his child. Meanwhile, the woman was still being bullied by her ex, who demanded she kneel and apologize before they would leave. He kicked the boy to the ground. At that moment, the old lady arrived, rushing forward to slap the man across the face. Before either of them could react, the CEO arrived at the hospital, and that was the end of their good days.
Alice came to Benjamin's house for the first time and personally cooked a whole table of dishes Benjamin showed off to his family, saying that the richest company wanted to work with him. But when Alice was about to sit down, she was stopped by Benjamin's mother, who said Alice was not worthy of eating at the table. Alice noticed that even the pet dog had a seat. The mother said disdainfully that the dog was worth far more than Alice. Benjamin remembered what his mother had said, that as long as Alice passed the test, she would agree to their marriage. So he persuaded Alice not to get angry. Alice reminded him that she had done housework all afternoon, but the mother said that if Alice couldn't handle it, she could leave. Benjamin's sister also brought over a bowl of rice and told Alice to eat in the kitchen. Benjamin also told Alice to be obedient. In order not to put Benjamin in a difficult position, Alice had no choice but to accept it. But the sister took the chance to smash the bowl. The mother-in-law immediately scolded angrily, saying the bowl was more expensive than Alice. Alice wanted to ask Benjamin for help, but the sister mocked her, saying Alice was only fit to be Benjamin's nanny. Benjamin also ordered Alice to clean it up quickly. Alice couldn't hold back her tears. What was even worse, the sister used punishment as an excuse and demanded Alice eat the leftover dog food. The mother thought this was much better than what Alice usually ate. Alice said directly that it was impossible, but Benjamin told Alice to think of it as doing it for him. Alice began to waver. Seeing this, the mother threatened that if Alice didn't eat it, she wouldn't allow her to marry Benjamin. Benjamin quickly reminded Alice that she had just promised him. It turned out that before entering the house, Benjamin had told Alice that his mother and sister had bad tempers. At that moment, Alice agreed. Now Alice had no choice but to agree to eat the dog food. But the mother said this was only the first test. Hearing this, Alice questioned Benjamin, asking if he planned to let her be bullied forever. Benjamin only stayed silent. Alice picked up her clothes and left. Benjamin wanted to stop her, but the mother said she didn't need such a disobedient daughter-in-law. So Benjamin didn't chase after her. Seeing this, Alice realized that Benjamin didn't love her at all, so she called her parents, saying she was willing to go back and inherit the company. It turned out Alice was actually the daughter of the richest man. Her mother never thought highly of someone like Benjamin, a nouveau riche. But because Benjamin had rescued Alice from a group of thugs, Alice hid her identity and dated him. But now Alice had decided to return to her own family in 3 days. At this moment, the assistant sent a message asking whether Alice wanted to continue cooperating with Benjamin's company. Alice didn't want any more entanglement, so she decided to continue the cooperation. But the next day, just as she was about to sign the contract, Benjamin's mother came and splashed a drink all over her and questioned whether she was dating the assistant. Benjamin also demanded an explanation from Alice. Alice said she was working, but the mother-in-law said that women who eat alone with men are all bad women. The assistant warned Benjamin's family to shut up, but Alice asked the assistant to leave first. Benjamin angrily scolded her, saying Alice actually dared to betray him like this. Alice pointed out that Benjamin didn't trust her. The mother said that Alice's short skirt was proof enough that she was there to seduce men and that Benjamin didn't need to believe her. Benjamin also expressed his agreement. The sister insulted her, saying Alice probably made money by selling her body. Alice couldn't help but slap her. Benjamin immediately accused her, saying someone as immoral as Alice didn't deserve to marry him. Alice said it was a company collaboration, but the mother believed that Alice was just making excuses to cover up her guilt. Alice told her to go ask the richest company, but the sister suggested that as long as Benjamin checked Alice's phone, it would prove she wasn't dating the assistant. Alice asked Benjamin if he was also doubting her. Benjamin felt that even his doubt was caused by Alice's own improper behavior. Alice threw her phone to Benjamin and told him to look carefully, but after Benjamin's family found no problems, they proposed to continue by checking Alice's bank cards. Alice pointed out that they were violating her right to privacy, but the mother said someone from the bottom like Alice didn't deserve to talk about privacy. The struggle caused Alice to be pushed to the ground. After Benjamin's father arrived at the hospital, he slapped Benjamin. The mother didn't understand what Benjamin had done wrong. At this moment, the doctor came out and told them that Alice had suffered a concussion and couldn't take any stimulation afterward. The father accused the family of being a bunch of idiots. Benjamin also felt they had gone too far, but the mother and sister believed that if they didn't torment Alice before marriage, she wouldn't obey them after marriage. Hearing this, the father became extremely angry and ordered the family to apologize to Alice. Unexpectedly, after the father left, the mother told Benjamin that if they apologized now, it would mean the premarital test was wrong. Benjamin worried that Alice would really break up with him, but the mother told him not to worry, saying she would use the tests to make Alice not dare to resist again. After Benjamin and his family saw Alice wake up, the mother and sister thought Alice was pretending. Seeing this, the doctor asked them to leave. Benjamin said disdainfully that he didn't lack just one girlfriend like Alice. Therefore, Alice messaged the assistant to cancel the cooperation with Benjamin. She wanted Benjamin's family to pay the price. After Alice was discharged from the hospital, she began packing her luggage. But the mother came over with a group of relatives saying the premarital test was only just beginning. Alice smashes Oscar's phone in a fit of rage, because every time she calls Oscar, he reads the message and never replies. Just moments earlier, when the brakes failed, Alice was caught in a brutal car accident. She called Oscar, desperate for help, but once again, there was only silence. Looking back, every time Alice needed him, Oscar was never there, and the loss of the child she just miscarried only fueled her anger even more. She storms into Oscar's study, completely unhinged. But when Oscar sees the shattered phone, a sudden incoming call lights up the screen. He rushes out without hesitation. Alice follows him closely. When she sees Oscar carrying his lover, Delilah, her heart shatters in an instant. That's when she calls Evan, asking him to keep the promise he once made. 5 years earlier, on the day Alice got married, Evan came to her with a bet. If she ended her marriage within 5 years, she would have to be with him. Now, Evan agrees without hesitation, promising to come for her in 1 month. That evening, Alice lies in bed, crying silently. Suddenly, Oscar appears. He blames his lover's miscarriage entirely on Alice. Alice accidentally injures Oscar. The next day, she visits him in the hospital. An emergency meeting is scheduled, but the moment Oscar gets a message from Delilah, he cancels everything without a second thought. Watching this, Alice finally understands. Love, or the lack of it, is painfully obvious, so she asks for a divorce. Oscar warns her coldly, telling her never to hurt Delilah, and signs the divorce papers without hesitation. With her goal achieved, Alice turns to leave, but Oscar stops her. He tells her the villa she wanted has already been transferred to Delilah. Back in the car, Alice stares at a photo of Oscar's first love. Only then does she realize why Oscar chose Delilah. She looks exactly like the woman he once loved. And the reason Oscar resents Alice dates back 5 years. His father noticed Alice's feelings for him and used an investment as leverage, forcing Oscar to marry her. Oscar agreed without resistance. But on the wedding day, he learned his first love had died for love. The next day, Alice puts on her makeup. She comes to say goodbye to her late mother. Suddenly, her mother-in-law appears. She viciously accuses Alice of hurting Oscar. To vent her anger on his behalf, she smashes the photo of Alice's mother. Alice completely loses control. She drives straight to her mother-in-law's house and destroys the entire villa. At that moment, Oscar arrives. He tells Alice to stop making a scene. Delilah steps in and grabs Alice. She offers a fake apology, then suddenly collapses to the ground, making Oscar believe Alice attacked her. Oscar shoves Alice hard. She falls, bleeding. Only then does panic hit him. He rushes her to the hospital. After the doctor's examination, Oscar finally learns Alice had just miscarried. Oscar brings her porridge, pretending to care. Alice smashes it without hesitation. Oscar doesn't get angry. Instead, he gently wipes her down. But Alice's love is long gone. She throws a cup of water at him, telling him to get out, now. Oscar insists on staying. Then his phone lights up with a message from Delilah, and he leaves without looking back. The next day, Alice returns home, only to receive a message from Delilah, bragging about Oscar's affection. Alice is furious. She orders everything belonging to Oscar thrown out. That afternoon, Oscar comes home. The house looks completely different. He doesn't question it. Instead, he gives Alice a shawl. Sensing Alice's low mood, Oscar makes a rare suggestion. A trip, just the two of them. Alice decides to give him one last chance. But just as they set off, Delilah texts, saying she twisted her ankle. Oscar immediately turns to pick her up. The moment they meet, Alice notices something. Delilah's shawl is exactly the same as hers. Delilah smirks and says Alice's was just a freebie. Enraged, Alice throws the shawl away. Oscar scolds her for being petty. The moment Delilah gets into the car, she suddenly feels fine and wants food. Oscar agrees instantly, leaving Alice alone on the roadside. The next day, Alice travels alone. Fate has her run into Oscar again. Delilah secretly follows Alice, telling her to know her place and walk away from Oscar for good. Alice exposes the truth without mercy. Delilah is nothing but a replacement. Furious, Delilah pushes Alice into the pool. Oscar jumps in to save her. Then Delilah jumps in as well. Without hesitation, Oscar lets go of Alice and turns to save Delilah instead. Later, Oscar comes to apologize, but Alice refuses to forgive him, so Delilah insists on apologizing herself. Soon after, Delilah finds Alice. She kneels down, holding out a watch. Alice recognizes it instantly, a gift from Oscar's first love. At that very moment, Oscar arrives. Seeing the watch fall, he rushes to grab it and is suddenly struck by a car. Alice slaps Delilah across the face, calling her a complete idiot. Alice rushes Oscar to the hospital. Specialists fight to save him for 3 days. But when Oscar finally wakes up, he believes Alice threw the watch. Driven by revenge, he smashes her mother's jade bracelet. Alice is beyond furious. She drags him straight to finalize the divorce. Oscar signs without hesitation, thinking it's just another one of her games. But the very next day, Alice brings Evan upstairs, intimate and unapologetic. Not long after, Oscar comes home. The moment he opens the bedroom door, his eyes widen in total shock.
Until the moment he saw his wife Alice appear on the television screen, Benjamin finally realized how foolish his decision had been. It turned out that Alice was the very Dr. Q he had been searching for all along. Not long ago, a zombie virus broke out on Earth, and the special antidote Alice developed under the alias Dr. Q was humanity's only hope for survival. But Benjamin had ordered people to bring Alice to Jessica's hospital room, claiming she had bullied Jessica and had spread rumors online about Dr. Q, so he was going to divorce her. Meanwhile, the scientists learned that Alice had been falsely accused of being the one who slandered Dr. Q, and immediately sent people to protect her. In the hospital room, Alice was explaining she hadn't done any of it, but Benjamin's mother barged in saying she had found zombie virus samples in Alice's room. Jessica schemed and said that she could choose not to blame Alice, but she couldn't tolerate insults toward Benjamin's idol, Dr. Q. Alice was about to reveal her identity, but remembered her superior's warning that her identity was top secret, so she could only beg Benjamin to believe her. But Benjamin said he had been blind before, and declared he was cutting ties with Alice, then threw her out of the room. The other patients, hearing that Alice had dared to insult Dr. Q, came to punish her. Benjamin drove them away, making Alice think he had chosen to believe her. But the next second, Benjamin pulled out divorce papers for her to sign. Alice then realized her marriage had been a complete joke, so she warned Benjamin not to regret this. His mother mocked her for still dreaming. Alice couldn't be bothered to argue, and walked out of the hospital alone. The next day, the entire internet was filled with news claiming Alice smeared Dr. Q. To protect Alice, the scientists deleted all related news. They discovered Jessica was the true culprit behind the rumors, so they wanted to reveal Alice's identity. Alice feared doing so would cast doubt on the antidote, so she chose to wait until the virus was under control. Elsewhere, Jessica was proudly telling Benjamin's mother that they had successfully driven Alice away, but Benjamin suddenly walked in, asking what they were talking about. Jessica panicked and immediately lied, saying her father had secured distribution rights for the antidote. Benjamin's mother chimed in that Benjamin should help Jessica's father, Little did they know Jessica's family's rights had already been revoked, and even Benjamin's company had been blacklisted by the scientists. Jessica schemed again, saying it must be Alice who ruined both companies' reputations, and that she'd go beg Alice to apologize. Seeing this, Benjamin stopped her, insisting he would teach Alice a lesson himself. A few days later, Alice saw internet trolls break into her home and live stream her mother, trying to force her mother to call Alice out to apologize. Alice rushed home, had the bodyguards remove the intruders, and hurried to move her mother out, but Benjamin and his mother blocked them. His mother accused Alice of delaying the company's profits and demanded she live stream an apology. Alice's mother angrily shouted that Alice had been framed, but Benjamin said Alice deserved all of it. Alice shot back that she could tolerate them bullying her, but they should never have gone after her mother. His mother dismissed her, taunting that Alice couldn't do anything about it anyway. Hearing this, Alice made a call, saying she wanted Benjamin's company acquired within 10 seconds. His mother mocked her for being crazy, but the next second, Benjamin got a call. His company had indeed been bought. Benjamin was stunned, saying the company was worth at least $10 billion. Alice told Benjamin and his mother to look up and see clearly who they had provoked. At that moment, a helicopter showered piles of cash from above, and bodyguards approached carrying gold bars. Benjamin demanded to know who Alice really was. Alice responded bluntly that he wasn't worthy of knowing her identity. Then she left with her mother. She told her assistant that starting today, using Benjamin's company funds, they would provide the antidote for free. That night, Benjamin begged Jessica to help investigate Alice's identity. Jessica claimed her father had connections with Dr. Q, so she could ask Dr. Q to help Benjamin. Benjamin was deeply moved. The next day, Jessica told the assistant that Alice had bought out the antidote with illegal funds, and she wanted to speak with Dr. Q in person. But the assistant already knew what kind of person Jessica was, and told her not to bother Dr. Q again. Benjamin returned home disappointed. He remembered that when he was infected, only Dr. Q had been willing to save him, so he hated Alice even more. Seeing this, Jessica hugged him and promised she would definitely help him. She then handed her own company over for Benjamin to run. Jessica's father told Benjamin that as long as he could earn Dr. Q's forgiveness, they could buy their company back. So Benjamin waited outside Dr. Q's office building the entire day. Alice had no choice but to speak with him through a curtain. But Benjamin immediately said that the one who slandered Dr. Q was Alice, and it had nothing to do with him or Jessica. Hearing this, Alice could only find it ridiculous, and tested him by asking how he planned to apologize. Benjamin quickly said he would have Alice publicly apologize right away, then took out his phone to call Alice. But he heard Dr. Q's phone ringing at the same time.